This is CBC Here and Now.
Higher taxes, a big increase in spending. The mayor even talking about a restructuring of the workforce. A tough budget here tonight in Mount Pearl. We'll have more on that coming up.
The Community Food Sharing Association gave out hundreds of turkeys here today that'll end up in food hampers just in time for Christmas.
Probably got about 2,000 turkeys. I got them going to Bay Rabbits, I got them going to Clarenville, I got them going everywhere.
I'm Jeremy Eaton and I'll have that story coming up.
What's new at the Stephenville Airport? We'll take a detailed look into the plans and the corporate capabilities of the company looking to buy it.
Particularly when you start saying that you've checked out the addresses and there was no evidence of them being there, that really tosses up some red flags.
That's coming up.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Heather Gillis in for Carolyn Stokes tonight. We begin with a surge in flu cases. It's an earlier than normal flu season in Newfoundland and Labrador. The province's most recent weekly report shows the number of confirmed cases is already much higher than the usual midwinter peak. Here and Now's Mark Quinn has that story.
Well, certainly this is a very different year than we've ever experienced.
In the first week of December alone, there were 148 laboratory-confirmed cases of influenza, 43 hospitalizations, 9 of them in intensive care, and 2 deaths. That case number of 148 is more than 3 times the weekly peak we commonly receive, according to the 5-year average, and that spike usually comes between February and April. Health experts say it's not possible to say if we're peaking early or this is just the beginning of a season when flu numbers will be much higher than usual.
It's difficult to tell now. That's kind of something we see in hindsight, and but I think it does suggest that it's going to be a longer season than we've ever had, and probably more severe, for sure.
As of December 3rd, there was a province-wide total of 218 confirmed cases and 5 deaths in this province. In the 2 years before the COVID pandemic, there were more than 900 cases of influenza in the province per year. The flu is commonly thought of as something that affects older people, but more than a third of people with influenza this year are less than 45 years old. It appears Newfoundland and Labrador is catching up with the rest of the country, where influenza activity started early and is spreading among children.
The increase in the number of children becoming sick or needing to visit the emergency department is similar to that seen in other areas of the country. Although influenza may not cause complications for most children, it can be very serious for infants, toddlers, and especially for children who have health concerns.
Health officials have taken to social media to urge people, especially young and old people, to get their flu shots.
If your child is over 6 months old, please ensure they receive their influenza vaccine as soon as possible. If you have children younger than 6 months of age, everyone living in the house should get a flu shot. Vaccination is the best defense against influenza.
The numbers out there right now are saying very clearly that people should be getting vaccinated and getting vaccinated as soon as possible.
While it may be the best defense, the flu vaccination rate in Newfoundland and Labrador is low. Less than a quarter of residents are vaccinated. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
To municipal politics now, it's been a tough year in Mount Pearl, the longest labor dispute in that city's history as well. And tonight, Council delivered its 2023 budget, one that will hit homeowners and businesses square in the pocketbook. CBC's Terry Roberts is in Mount Pearl tonight and joins us live now with details. Terry, what can you tell us?
Well, Heather, your timing is perfect. You just missed the applause there. The city councillors here in Mount Pearl just voted what appears to be unanimously to endorse this 2023 financial blueprint. Get this, a $56 million budget, an increase in spending for this small city of 23,000 people of $4 million in increased spending here. So what does that mean? How are they going to pay for that? Well, taxes are going up. If you're a homeowner in Mount Pearl, you can expect to feel it in your pocketbook. The mill rate is going from 7.1 to 7.7. So if you got a house that's valued at about $250,000, you're paying about $2,428 this year in taxes. Well, you can count on paying about $220 more next year, about $220 more. That's if you have a house valued at about $250,000. So of course that, there's lots of homes that are valued much higher than that. And if you're a business owner here in Mount Pearl, rates are also going up as well. You're going to feel it because the mill rate is going from 11.5 to 12.4, and the business occupancy rate, 8% across the board. It's going up, and but there is some relief here. No increases in some fees like water and sewer. Water rate is going to stay at $600. So all this, of course, comes at a lot of the councillors were saying here tonight, this has been a very tough budget, a challenging blueprint to try and put together, because the town is facing a lot of inflationary pressure, because we all know that the price of everything has gone up. For the councillors are just walking out here now, every project that's being done here in Mount Pearl, the price has gone up by 35% because of that inflationary pressure. And so there's lots of things going to happen. One thing that's really eye-opening here is they're going to start to they're going to hire private snow clearing to assist to help reduce overtime here. They're going to spend $500,000 on that. I'm not sure how that's going to go over with Local 2099. So, and all of this, of course, has happened under a bit of a cloud here in Mount Pearl. Labor disunity, I guess you could say. It was only yesterday we heard that the president of Local 2099 had been fired. And as I spoke to the mayor here earlier tonight, it wasn't brought up during the budget, but there's talks about a restructuring of jobs here in the city. So there could be some redundancies. Now, I know there was a letter floating around today saying that employees should probably prepare for some bad news. So that's where we are tonight here in Mount Pearl. Tax increases, bigger spending, and so if you're a resident here in Mount Pearl, chances are you're going to be paying more to keep the high standard of services that you're used to here in this city. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Terry Roberts in Mount Pearl.
And the power is out in parts of Corner Brook this evening. Newfoundland Power says it's not a planned event and crews are working on it. There is no estimated time as to when the power might be restored. About 1,900 customers are affected. The city is under a wind warning today, with residents being warned of possible damage to buildings or other infrastructure.
Yeah, and the reason for that wind warning is an area of low pressure that is about to, or is going to move through the Cabot Strait as we head through the night tonight. We do have lots of rain as well as some snow already showing up on the radar. You can see some of that heavy rain across the Avalon. That will work its way north as we head through the night tonight, eventually for the Bonavista Peninsula as well. And then we've got some snow showing up. Most of where we're living, we're seeing rain for the most part, but the snow will move further north as we head through the night tonight. So we do have rainfall warnings for Green Bay, White Bay through to the Bay of Exploits, as well as Bonavista North and Gander. Wind warnings along the west coast, south coast, and then that snowfall warning also in place for Green Bay, White Bay. That's because higher elevations are going to see that snow. As far as Labrador is concerned, we've got freezing drizzle advisory in that onshore flow that will continue through a good chunk of tomorrow. But take a look at these wind gusts. 128 in the Wreck House area, 100 in Stephenville. These winds will continue tonight. In fact, strengthen for some areas. I'll get into the details coming up.
Thank you, Ashley. In other news, a retired RCMP officer with a complicated court history has been charged once again, but this time it's for a different offense. Stephen Blackmore has been charged with forcible confinement and assault. The charges stem from an incident in June 2019. Police say he assaulted a man in Clarenville. Blackmore was an active RCMP officer at the time, but he had been on leave for several years following a complicated criminal case. He stood trial back in 2014 on charges of assaulting and sexually assaulting 2 women. Blackmore was found not guilty, but the Supreme Court of Canada appealed that ruling and ordered a new trial. The Crown eventually elected to drop the case. Police have handed this latest assault allegation over to the Serious Incident Response Team. Blackmore is expected in court in the new year.
Why should you take someone that lived together for 67 years and separate them? Don't make sense, does it?
Separated by the system, a husband's plea to be reunited with his wife in long-term care. Their story in 30 minutes on Here and Now. Now, the Community Food Sharing Association Santa today for dozens of groups that will hand out food hampers over the holidays. The group donated thousands of turkeys at its St. John's warehouse this afternoon. Take a look.
We could probably get about 2,000 turkeys. This is going to be an all-day trend for us to give them out. I got them going to Bay Rabbits, I got them going to Clarenville, I got them going everywhere.
We're here now picking up turkeys for our Christmas hampers. I think we got over 300 hampers this year, and Community Food Service is supplying 100 turkeys to us.
If we didn't get those donated, it's things we have to buy, and of course as a charitable organisation we have to depend on donations to be able to purchase those things. So being able to do that allows us to make sure we have hampers for everybody, the turkeys for everybody, but it also keeps our funds available to help us, because it's an ongoing situation for us. Christmas is great, but the need is there year round. So by having this kind of support now, it enables us to be able to provide things ongoing come January onward. So it's a tremendous help, no doubt about it. Just our group alone will do about 200. Now we have another conference in Mount Pearl as well, which will do about the same. And the Salvation Army group, which is there, will probably do, so I'd say between all the food banks in Mount Pearl, we'll probably do about 500 hampers.
Very important. As you know, the price of turkeys have gone sky high, and otherwise we would have to raise money to go out and collect them. But right now we're very appreciative to get 150 turkeys donated to our food bank. Be between 180 to 200 clients this year. And how does that compare to last year? Pretty well, around the same, but we're probably up another 10% or so. I guess I've been involved now at least 10 years or more, and I just enjoy being able to, I'm retired, and be able to help out and do something.
It makes you feel good when you know you've helped others, and to be able to give back and to know how fortunate you are. I think until you get involved with an organisation like this helping those in need, you really don't understand the need that's out there. And in a community like Mount Pearl, it's not something that you see. And you kind of take it for granted that everything is good.
It's a great feeling for me. I'm involved with a great group of people. We do this 12 months a year. That gives me, at the end of the day, I can look in the mirror and say I helped my neighbor. That is what Christmas is about, giving.
Moving on now, students from Iran say the Canadian government isn't moving fast enough to allow their spouses to travel here. It's at a time of great violence and uncertainty in their home country. About 100 students at Memorial University are waiting on their spouses to be granted travel visas to come to Canada. Thousands of students across the country are in the same situation, and most of them are women. On the Go host Anthony Germain spoke with one such student today.
All of us who living here or live in Iran are in a tough situation. We can't connect with our family easily. My 7-year-old daughter is missing. Missing her father, and she wrote a letter for Santa to bring her dad for Christmas.
To get dad back.
These days I have to work, I have to study, I have to take care of my 7-year-old daughter because I'm responsible about her. The Canadian government needs lots of specialist people here, but I don't know why they delay this processing visa.
Ladon Jahanha and dozens of other university students have started a petition. They're urging Ottawa to take action and reunite displaced spouses and their families.
Well, there is some snow in the forecast. In fact, some could see somewhere between 20 to as much as 30 centimeters of snow. Get into the details coming up.
And tonight on CBC Investigates, we take a closer look at the corporations owned by Carl Diamond, the businessman who says he has big plans for the Stephenville Airport. welcome back to Here and Now. It's been 15 months since an Ottawa businessman announced plans that he called a game changer for the Stephenville area. Carl Diamond said he'd buy the airport there and then set into motion an array of new initiatives to benefit Western Newfoundland. But the deal still hasn't closed. Tonight on CBC Investigates, we take a closer look at Diamond's corporations and as people in Stephenville continue to wait for those plans to become a reality. CBC's Troy Turner has the story.
The promises were big from the start. Carl Diamond has said thousands of jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars in spending will be coming here to the Stephenville area.
I think putting our money into it is showing that we're serious about what we're looking to do.
So we decided to look into those plans. We've uncovered information that raises a swirl of new questions about Diamond's plans and his corporate capabilities. We wanted to visit Diamond's businesses in person, but had little luck. In June, on the same day it was announced that a binding agreement to sell the airport was reached, we went to the listed address for the Diamond Group headquarters in Ottawa. No one was there. A CBC colleague in Ottawa spent a day in November visiting other locations listed as office addresses for Diamond's companies. This one in downtown Ottawa, a new address for the Diamond Group, home to a virtual office company, which offers mail services and meeting rooms. They said that Diamond used to be a client, but wasn't anymore. And this location in a business park, listed as home to Diamond Aerospace. No luck at this address either. There has also been past confusion about who has been overseeing the companies. Diamond is currently the CEO and only director listed at the Diamond Group of companies, but that hasn't always been the case. In August of 2021, Diamond filed documents removing himself as the director of both the Diamond Group and Diamond Aerospace. It's an important job. Directors are responsible for supervising the activities of the corporation. He named a replacement backdated to July of 2020. But just last month, that person told CBC News he hasn't had anything to do with Diamond for about a year and didn't actually know he was still listed as a director. So Diamond recently filed new paperwork, putting himself back on the board.
How could you be a director of a company and not know it?
All that raises questions for an expert in corporate governance at the University of Toronto's Rotman School of Business.
Particularly when you start saying that you've checked out the addresses and there was no evidence of them being there, that really tosses up some red flags.
Diamond declined interview requests, but in an email said his companies are functioning like a startup. As most entrepreneurs know, there's a lot of change during the first year, change of location and changes in key roles. With the additional unsuspecting change of the pandemic, our employees and myself have been working remotely from home. Our offices have not been occupied and some leases have expired. Since the airport deal announcement 15 months ago, there has been word about other big things to come. A year ago, an Ottawa-based tech company announced a $20 million investment from the Diamond Group. As part of that plan, Bridges XR announced it would open an office here at the airport. We haven't seen any indication of that. When we reached the Bridges XR CEO for comment and details on those plans, he declined. There have also been plans announced for another Diamond investment in a separate company. UK-based Urban Airport said in April that the Diamond Group would buy in and Carl Diamond would get a seat on its board. Then, a vertiport, a type of airport for drones, would be established in Stephenville.
And it shows how forward-thinking Carl and the entire Diamond Group are, and we're really excited to be involved in this and looking forward to getting everything finalized in terms of signatures and crossing T's and dotting I's and getting the orders underway.
In June, Urban Airport said the deal was in the final stages. Fast forward 6 months, and neither side is talking about what's happened since. In his email to CBC News, Diamond says details of his partnerships are evolving, and they look forward to releasing those details when appropriate. Diamond isn't doing interviews now, but did speak at a conference in St. John's in late October. He said investors are on board to fund all of his plans. He declined to identify them. He said good news would be coming as soon as airport officials cleared up a historic insolvency proceeding there.
I'm waiting for counting on the people's patience of Stephenville and surrounding area. This transaction is in the 11th hour being completed.
We contacted the new airport board chairperson, William McNeil, but he declined an interview. He said he would talk once he has an update to share. Troy Turner, CBC News, Stephenville.
And Ashley's here with the weather now. I guess it's starting to get a little rainy, not clear and dry like it was where Troy was earlier today.
Yeah, and it's going to pour as we head through the night tonight, especially for eastern areas of the province, particularly the Avalon and then up through Bonavista as well. But take a look at the temperatures today. They were mild, 4 degrees in St. John's, 5 in Cape Race, Marystown, Burgeo, Stephenville, all tied for first place at 6 degrees today. And then those temperatures up across Labrador, for the most part, hovering near or just above zero towards the coast, but the cooler temperatures, but warming for Central and Lab West. So taking a look at the temperature change over the last 24 hours, between 8 to 13 degrees warmer, 17 degrees warmer in Churchill Falls. That's because that cold pocket of air is moving off now, or allowing some of that warmer air to move in. But right across the board, across the island, those temperatures are much warmer as well, anywhere from 5 to 12 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. So that's why we're seeing all of that rain. Taking a look at what's going on right now, area of low pressure that will head towards and through the Cabot Strait tonight. There's that pocket of cold air that was affecting Labrador, at least central and western portions of Labrador overnight. But lots of rain, and these isobars here, these lines here of equal pressure, the tighter those lines are together, the stronger the wind. So that's why we're seeing all of the windy conditions as well across the island, generally in an easterly wind as well. And as we head through the night tonight, we're going to see those winds continue. So just taking a look at the current satellite and radar, we've got some snow activity in the higher elevations along the west coast. Otherwise, most are actually seeing rain so far, and heavy rain at times across the Avalon at the moment, and that rain will work its way further north as we head through the night tonight. Temperatures overall are going to stay quite mild, but take a look at the amount of rain we're expected to see. So this is just from now through to tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We're talking about the potential for 20 to 30, even 30 to 50 millimeters of rain falling in a very short period of time from essentially Gander through to the northern Avalon. And then we will likely see some of that heavier rain as well for the lower elevations for Green Bay, White Bay. Now we advance through to Thursday evening. Those accumulations as far as rainfall is concerned could be somewhere between 50 to 75 millimeters. And again, the heaviest rain looks like it should fall from Bonavista through to Terra Nova. And even showing, 50 to 75 millimeters through to Gander. But as we head through to tomorrow, some of this will likely mix in with some heavy wet snow as well. Temperatures tonight will stay above zero for the most part. Again, those windy conditions, easterlies, somewhere between 90 to as much as 120 kilometers per hour along the west coast. And then up across Labrador, you're looking at the flurry activity tonight, some gusty winds as well. But along coastal areas of Labrador, some of this will likely fall as some freezing drizzle advisory in place for you. It looks like that will continue through the day tomorrow as we see this easterly flow. We'll time out the rain and the wind tonight. So this is overnight at midnight. Still going to see that heavy rain work its way further north towards the coast. Higher elevations through central and the interior, looking at that snow. Again, we could be talking about 30 to as much as 30 to 40 centimeters of snow rather. And a lot of that snow will continue through the afternoon. This is when we're going to start to see the potential for that to mix with that rain through the Gander area. And then as we head into the evening hours, the winds will eventually ease off, but they're going to stay quite gusty as we head into Thursday. As far as those snowfall amounts go, like I said, most of it should be in the higher elevations. We're talking about the potential for 20 to 30 or even 40 centimeters of snow, Green Bay, White Bay area, long range mountains for sure. And then mixing with snow, rain, so it will likely not be this much around the Gander area or in the vicinity, but you could still be talking about 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. Just taking a look at temperatures tomorrow, 2 to 5 degrees through the day. Up across Labrador, warm, relatively speaking, -4 in Lab City. Taking a look at the long-range forecast when we come back.
Constanza Safatli is at risk of missing Christmas with her 2 young children because of delays with immigration paperwork. Originally from Chile, Safatli is best known here for owning Newborn Lander. That's a social enterprise which makes baby accessories. She got her permanent residency back in August, but has yet to receive other important documents. She needs to travel back home to this province, and she's now in limbo and is joining us live. So, Constanza, what can you tell us about why you're stuck in Chile?
Well, I am stuck. The principal reason why I'm stuck here is because for the delay of documents that the federal government, IRCC, have sending these formal documents to the principal applicant, that in this case is me. So the document that I need, which is the permanent resident card, never arrived, and also the paper that they give to you to prove that you are a permanent resident expired.
And why did you have to leave the country and go back to Chile?
So a family situation come up, and we decide to travel after this letter that proves that you are a permanent resident expired, to give a reasonable time and to receive the PR card, the permanent resident card, even though never arrived. So as soon as I travel outside the country, I knew that I need to apply to a travel document, which I did. The system take a couple of days to approve this document. And when the document was approved, I go to the Chilean, not embassy, but it's a place where you need to send this document. And I realized that I need to send my papers now to Argentina, and that will take 2 or 3 weeks in process and come back to me. I have 2 younger children and don't be able to be with them for Christmas, be a part of my family, even though I get my permanent resident. This is a punishment to me, to tell me you don't belong, you are not, and you still will not be part of here. Doesn't matter how hard you work. I worked 7 years, 7 years hard to enter to the labor market. I create my business. I have another job on the side. I try to advocate for change for good, and it's not enough.
Constanza, how would you describe the immigration process that you've experienced so far?
If I will learn that this will be the process, I think I will never be immigrate to Canada. And I think I will not go through this again. And that's why I am hoping that people understand that being an immigrant is tough, is hard, and I feel betrayed.
And Constanza, in your view, what are the problems that need to be fixed?
Well, we are in 2022. They can digitize, sorry, this word is hard to me, digitalize the documents, so you can get them online, can be in the system, or also expedite the process to get your PR card. The system is broke. And if they don't have enough people and capacity to print a card, hiring more people. I can go to Canada and I can drive a private car and I can enter to Canada with the documents that I have today. But if I need to take an airplane, I can't. So what is that? Who created that? That makes sense? I don't think that makes sense. So fix it.
Constanza, what happens next for you?
I will apply tomorrow my documents to Argentina. Finger crossed that they will process this fast. I don't think that any family deserves to be forced to be separate. I don't think that for a mistake or delay of federal government, we need to pay for that cost. And I don't believe that that this create a trust in your system. I really believe that the system is betraying the values of Canada. And I think that is unacceptable.
And finally, Constanza, have you been in contact with your federal MP, and have they offered any help?
Definitely. I will tell you something. After this situation, I will never leave Newfoundland and Labrador, because the support from the Premier and Andrew Furey, Minister Jerry Byrne, and Seamus O'Regan has been like impeccable. It's being like so supported. And these kind of things happen just in Newfoundland.
Okay, well, Constanza, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for creating space and create awareness about the problems of immigrants.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Now, meanwhile, a spokesperson for the federal government says they can't speak to the specifics of Safatli's case. They say Canada has taken considerable action to reduce permanent resident card processing times, which grew during the pandemic, and they're encouraging applicants to apply as early as possible to avoid delays. Meanwhile, Jerry Byrne says Ottawa has a big backlog that needs to be processed, and he wants to see an immigration office in this province.
We've got 5,100 people. We have 5,100 Costanzas waiting to come to our province or waiting for their permanent residency in our province, and that has to change. That has to be approved.
We wouldn't have a war in the world if we were back together.
Jim and Teresa Wolfrey are forced to live apart in separate personal care homes because they require different levels of care. It's a tough reality for a couple who have been together for nearly 7 decades. That story is next when we come back with our Concerning Care series. Welcome back. Jim and Teresa Wolfrey are happily married but are being forced to live apart. It's due to their differing care needs. The couple of 67 years are split between two types of care homes. With the help of their children and grandchildren, Jim visits Teresa almost every day. But it's a challenge, one the family says is hurting everyone involved, not only emotionally, but physically.
We were always happy together. And I know we would be again if we wouldn't have a war in the world if we were back together. But now we got all kinds of worries, eh?
They've been separated for over a year.
They were in a home, pretty well on even keel with their needs and what they wanted. And Mom started to go downhill. She ended up in the hospital, and then we knew she couldn't go back into the same home Dad was. They couldn't offer the same care. And that's still where we are now, in two homes, in two different communities.
It's not good, I'll tell you that. You know? And I find it bad. I think she finds it a lot worse. But she gets lonely, especially nighttime, you know. And if I could be there all the time, she'd be very happy. Yeah, she wants me there all the time.
So we won't take your walker now. I'm all right.
So between myself and Sid, and on the weekends, the grandchildren kind of pick up the slack. And every day, you know, we have to get his walker in the car or his wheelchair in the car, bring him down, bring him to the door, get the walker out, let him go in, and we go park. And the same thing in reverse to come back. And in the summer it's not bad, but in the winter, we're coming up on the winter now again, it's going to be brutal.
Yeah. Well, they're like two individual people living in two individual places that touch like ships in the night, you know, and just, if the weather is good and if nobody is sick and there's no disease around, they can get together for 2 hours. It's not enough for Dad, because that gives him 22 hours then to worry, because he's always been there when she needed it, and not enough for Mom because she's alone then.
Okay. See you guys. Well, we want Dad to get moved into Agnes Pratt. I've had him reassessed, and he's approved as a spousal admission. That happened in July, we found out, so we're getting all excited. But what I figured out is all the level 3s that are in the system are bumping him off the list every time. So he's not going anywhere, I don't think, anytime soon. You know, I think, and that's been a really bit of an upset this month when we kind of figured that out. Okay. Stand.
Yep.
All right, get your feet on there.
Yeah. Where are we going now?
Let's sit right here now.
Sit right here.
Sometimes I feel like I panic, like I'm almost like I can look down a tunnel and I can't see anything changing, and this is never going to end. And this is what it's going to be like every day, and it's kind of upsetting and it wears you down when you don't see any end in sight, you know.
To me, we think it's causing me to have mini strokes. I've had 8 or 9 in the last few months. That's when it comes, when I get a worry. Yeah.
I mean, I agree, yes, okay. There's level 3s that need to get in, and they need a bed worse than Dad. But he's approved. He went through the process of being assessed, and he's approved. So to me, if he's on that list, you know, it's not only just the bed, it's the effect that this is having on him, his health, Mom's health, our mental status, our lives. You know, we really have no life outside of going back and forth there. And I don't foresee anything in the future. And even the nurses, like their lives of Mom, you know, they're putting up with Mom ringing and ringing and ringing continuously when we're not there, what a difference it would make to them if Dad was there. You know, so it's not just you're improving someone's life by putting them in a bed. You're improving our quality of the whole system here. Mom, Dad, us, and nurses.
You start talking about this bed and this room and that room, when really what you're talking about is that person and that person. The main emotion at 86 shouldn't be sadness, to my mind. If you've had a life of 67 years together, your main emotion for the day should not be sadness or loneliness. And that's what I think we see now. You know.
That's my biggest problem right now, is getting me back into home. If we could find someone that could find a way to get us back together. And you know, we're together where we should be. Why should you take someone that lived together for 67 years and separate them? Don't make sense, does it? I don't think it do.
Health Minister Tom Osborne says health authorities look at the most urgent needs when it comes to assessing long-term care beds. But he says he understands the stress separating spouses can put on the couple and their family, and says he can empathize.
My parents have been married now 60 years. If one of them required long-term care, I would not want to see them separated. So this is an issue that I would like to see resolved. It is, I've directed that the review on long-term care take into account admission policies, including spousal admission, inform possible changes to policy or legislation, and guide a more patient-centered approach, improving the environment for not only patients but for staff.
A tie here.
So I guess we're going Survivor style.
CBC hosts are putting it all on the line, and only one recipe is about to survive the Great CBC Cookie Bake-Off. And the finale is coming up next. Welcome back. Well, they baked and they voted and they have a winner. CBC Newfoundland and Labrador's Cookie Championship is now in the books. And it was a very close contest, that initially ended in a tie and then moved to a sudden death vote. Have a look.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to taste one cookie at a time. We'll do a roundhouse review, and then we'll move on to cookie 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then at the end, each one of us is going to vote for our favorite cookie.
Right.
You're just not allowed to vote for yourself.
And I think Ashley wants us to start with hers
get you guys
because
to try it,
the
'cause it's
cloves and everything
delicate.
else.
Okay.
Okay. Beautiful texture.
These are really good. These
Beautiful
are pillows
texture.
of heaven.
Are they pillows of heaven?
These are pillows of heaven.
Oh my god.
Beautiful texture. Is that like a cinnamon on top?
There, I know this word is divisive. Moist.
They
You
are.
got this gluten-free word. you managed to make this cookie moist because these can be really dry.
They can be dry. I think they were baked perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah, we're eating Peter's square.
Even though I can't vote on mine, I'm still eating mine.
They
because
smell amazing.
That's how much confidence I have in my own breath cooking here.
What, your confidence level is the fact that you can eat it?
It's really
Bar's
good.
pretty high.
Is that coconut in the base?
This is really nice, Peter.
Okay, let's try Anthony's Christmas cake cookie variation here that he's been
chewy.
really trying to convince us all that.
Just open your minds.
Yes.
That's this
Open
one,
your
right?
minds.
Yep.
That's that one.
Okay.
Well, I can
Nothing
smell the
says
cloves.
this is
know
going to
you-
be a great cookie like
Chewy
having to
fruitcake.
apologize for it
I'm
first.
not apologizing. I'm just trying to set the table.
It's really heavy.
Yeah,
Like I'm
like
just
weight wise.
there's
Yeah,
a
there's a fair bit of butter in them.
So I happen to love fruitcake, and these are fantastic.
Let's go with Adam's. What are they called again? Hermit?
Yes.
Crabs
yes.
or-
Yeah, hermit cookies.
Hermit cookies. Okay.
Okay. There's a little bit of everything in
They
these.
smell really good too.
Also very moist. Everyone definitely went
Yeah.
on the moist end of the baking rather
Because
than
Adam's oven wasn't working.
Are they cooked? No, those smell really good too.
So
Yep.
this is Chrissy Holmes. What is this called again?
This is the Christmas
Whoa.
crackle.
Okay.
This is Sandy Hollett's recipe from Humber Valley. Yeah.
This is really good. But
That
I
is
am-
delicious.
I am,
Oh wow.
like, the sugar hit me
Yeah.
in my brain
Yeah.
right away.
A little bit goes a long way. So you're gonna, even though it was done in an 8x8 pan,
There's
you're
good
gonna feed a
mouthfeel.
party with these. Yeah.
Yeah,
The mouth feels good.
We've tasted all 5 cookies now, and one vote. Ashley. Whoa. Okay, so the only rule here was we were not allowed to vote for ourselves.
So that wasn't my vote.
Next.
I recognize that right.
Chrissy. What? I did not write that. That is not my handwriting, I promise. Chrissy.
5 of us.
All right.
I know there can't be a tie.
Adam.
Okay.
I didn't write that.
Adam. Okay. Next one. Adam.
These like penalty kicks.
And it's Ashley.
Ooh,
tie.
Wild.
We got a tie here.
So I
don't
guess
know.
we're going Survivor style.
Okay, what do you
Just
mean?
between the two of us.
So now Anthony, Peter, and myself will vote.
The
only
3
between-
losers get to vote among the 2 winners.
Let's just see how this cookie crumbles.
All right. I liked Ashley's cookie.
Okay.
I'm voting Ashley.
So 1 for Ashley. I gotta say, I like the hermit. 1 for Adam.
Peter,
to you,
Cal, and I
Anthony.
never agree on anything, but in this case, I'm with Peter. I have to vote for Adam Walsh's crosstalk cookie.
Hi, Adam Walsh, CBC producer and host of Crosstalk with the winning champion chip cookies here. Scott Schelleriff sent in the recipe for holiday hermit cookies. There's not many left because they're that delicious. I just want to say thanks for everyone sending in their recipes, and, this worked out really well.
Welcome back. And Ashley, you were so close with that sugar cookie. That cinnamon sugar cookie looked delicious.
It was delicious. They didn't last very long. They were all gone, but yeah, so close.
Yeah.
Gotta make more batches of those. I'll post the recipe actually on all my social media too. So, because it's a winner in my heart.
Looked like it. Do we have any winners in the weather?
Ooh, that's a good one. If you like rain, then yeah, sure. Certainly. Let's take a look at what's going on. Unfortunately, through the overnight on Wednesday into Thursday, that rain is generally going to continue. Now, we may see that mix with some snow in some cases through central, but the winds will return back to northerly or a northerly component through the day. And then we've got another ridge of high pressure moving in up across the Big Land. However, some flurries will still stick around towards the coast, but it does look like lots of sunshine up across northern Labrador. But flurries the story for the rest of you. And then we're looking at temperatures above zero across the island as well. However, temperatures hovering around 1 or 2 degrees. That's why we'll see that mix of some snow, and then that rain will continue for the east. Temperatures around 5 degrees for St. John's through the day on Thursday. As we head into Friday, things will start to get a little better. We're going to continue to see that rain, though, or drizzle for eastern areas of the island. Then again, that onshore flow, which means the flurries will continue, but it won't be, you shouldn't see too much in the way of accumulation. We'll likely just see flurries through central. South coast looks pretty nice. You'll actually see the sunshine. And then again, up across Labrador, not too much in the way of weather. However, things will be unsettled through the afternoon. So you're still looking at that chance of some flurries. Temperatures still between 0 and about -7, coldest in the west. And then Nain, still some sunshine. That's where really the best weather will be as far as that sunshine is concerned. Across the island, temperatures near or just above 0, especially east and south as we head through the day on Friday. Now, taking a look at the long-range forecast, temperatures above 0 for the most part, flirting with 0 overnight Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it is going to be unsettled, likely gray skies right through to the end of the weekend with that rain returning by Sunday. For central Newfoundland, you're looking at flurries, a little bit more of a mix in the forecast for you as we head into Sunday. And again, those daytime highs not really moving much from the overnight lows. So we'll go from -2 to about 3 degrees over the next 5 days. And then for western Newfoundland, flurries the story right into Sunday. Overnight lows will dip to about -1 or -2. As we head through the weekend. Now, as far as eastern Labrador is concerned, few flurries, they'll really continue right as we head into Sunday, and daytime highs well above where you should be sitting this time of year. And the same thing for western Labrador as well, especially overnight, but between -6 and -7 as you get into Sunday. I wanted to share this great shot. Look how beautiful this sunrise in red sky at morning in Traytown. Howard shared that great shot with us. And if you have any weather photos that you would like to share with us, send them to my Facebook page, Twitter, or email them to nophotos@cbc.ca. Is that not stunning?
It's so nice. Red sky and morning. Take warning.
That's
I guess
right.
that was ahead of all of that weather that is coming our way.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Pleasure having you on board. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night.